Welcome back to Solo Marvel Champion, where today instead of playing the game, I want to talk about it for just a bit. After this video, I encourage you to check the description to see some other YouTubers who are creating content for Marvel Champions. Also, if you like what you saw in this video, I would like you to consider a like, sub, and comment. It really helps the channel grow. With that, let's get into today's topic. Alright, this video is just a friendly reminder to everyone, myself included, to read the card. You know, often on Facebook, if someone asks a question about how a card works, some people will just say, no, it doesn't work that way, these are the rules, but a lot of people will reply, do what the card says and not what it doesn't say. In order to do that, though, you need to read the card, and I am as guilty as anybody about not reading the card. Great example is Preemptive Strike. This came up in my recent Shadowcat game. I had said, if the boost card the villain gets here doesn't have any boost icons, I don't get to play Preemptive Strike. That means I am going to end up taking damage. It happened to be the only defense event in my hand. So the deck list where I published this particular deck, I did have people telling me, no, that's not how it works. It's, you know, you're interrupting the boost card being turned face up, not the icons. So I read it and said, oh my goodness, you're absolutely right. I've been playing this wrong forever. I had in my head that this card said, when boost icons are turned face up while the villain attacks, cancel them and deal the damage. Had I slowed down and read the card, I would have seen that it says, when a boost card is turned face up while the villain attacks, cancel all boost icons. What this means is, it doesn't matter how many boost icons are on there. There could be 0. And you can still play this because you're interrupting the card being turned face up. So that's a really good example of read the card. The first time I read this card, I just got it into my head that I was canceling boost icons, and that's completely wrong. So, as the video suggests, as the thumbnail and title tell you, read the card. The next card that I didn't read and thought was something else was Toe to Toe. This one is a 1-cost event which says Hero Action Attack. Choose an enemy. That enemy attacks you, deal 5 damage to that enemy. The problem is, I had in my head that this card said, the villain attacks you, deal 5 damage to the villain. And even though this card came out way before Taunt did, I think Taunt reinforced in my head that that's what Toe to Toe was saying. But that's not true. I played this in a Miss Marvel game, in 2 Miss Marvel games, which you haven't seen yet. And at one point during that game, I realized, oh, this is really good for defeating minions. You know, those little 1-attack guard minions, maybe. Choose an enemy. That enemy attacks you for 1, deal 5 damage to it, you've knocked it out. That's another great example of read the card. I just had in my head that it was the villain attacks me, but if I had read it, that is not what it says. Choose an enemy, that enemy attacks you. Something else really important about both of these cards, Toe to Toe and Taunt, they are not costs. The enemy attacking you is not a cost. So you can stun that enemy, the villain, minion, whatever. You can stun them, and then they try to attack you, but knock off their stun instead. That's the case with Toe to Toe and Taunt. So in that particular Ms. Marvel deck, it's my drop kick stunlock deck, and of course, that deck is all about stunning the villain. So, with the villain stunned, you can play this, take no damage, deal 5 damage. Same with Taunt. Stun the villain, they cannot attack you, you still get to draw 3 cards. So there's another important part of reading the card. You know, is there a cost arrow? No, there is no cost arrow here. There is no cost arrow here. So the enemy attacking you is not a cost. Read the cards. I say all of that, but there are at least a couple cards that you cannot just read and fully gain the information for them. And that's because of errata. Warning is a great example. Zero cost event, defense, interrupt defense. When a hero would take any amount of damage, reduce that amount by 1. Well, Ghost Spider likes that because she is going to get to trigger dizzying reflexes. She'll get to ready. Her web bracelets will get to pop. Shadowcat, while phased, is now defending, so she can't take damage. Except the warning has some errata. Remove defense and the defense trait. These no longer being defense cards makes her sad. Shadowcat could let any hero on the table start to take the damage, and when they would take a damage, she could play warning, become the defender, and now because she's defending and phased, she doesn't take any damage. It's not reduced by 1, it's reduced entirely. So this errata really sucks for Shadowcat. Still okay for Ghost Spider because she only cares about it being an interrupt. The next one is go for champions, max 1 per deck. Play only if your identity has the champion trait. Hero action, each champion character in play cannot take damage until the end of the round. Well, this was fantastic for Nova, whose signature ally is Miss Marvel. Hero response, after you play an event, exhaust Miss Marvel, deal 1 damage to her. That is a cost. But deal damage and take damage are different. So you would deal her a damage, and then immediately when she would take damage, she could not take it because of Go for Champions. Return that event to your hand. So you could get this loop in Nova where your characters, or your champion characters anyway, just never take damage, and you get to play that card over and over and over again. Well, Go for Champions got some errata. Remove Go for Champions from the game. Ms. Marvel also got errata from your discard pile. Return that event to your hand from your discard pile. I'm not sure why she also needed the errata. I think Go for Champions would have been fine. But now, as Nova or any character, when you play Go for Champions, it is removed from the game. That means it doesn't go to discard, and Ms. Marvel can't return it to her hand, to your hand, from the discard pile. So a little bit tangential to the point of this video, which is read the card, because here are 2 cards that, unless you know, you don't know that these cards have been changed. Don't let it ruin your fun, though. If you're just playing at home, by yourself or with your closest friends, no one is going to care that this is no longer a defense event. Play it with Shadowcat, defend the whole table with a 0-cost card that literally says no one takes any damage. Same with Go for Champions. If you're just playing at home with your friends or by yourself, play it, loop it if you want. The FFG police are not going to bust your door down and say, hey, we put some errata on this card, follow it. That's not going to happen. So, I guess what I'm saying is, read the card and do what it says and not what it doesn't say. If you're in some kind of organized event, someone is going to say, hey man, those are errata, you can't do that. But for a friendly home game, no one cares. Read it and just do what it says. And also, with every card you play, read the card and do what it says. I do feel really stupid that I misinterpreted this card right from the get-go. Where was the first... Yeah, Ms. Marvel. This first came out in Ms. Marvel. And ever since it came out, I have been misreading it. Toe-to-Toe came out a little bit later, Hulk, which isn't too much later, just a few packs later. But that's another one that I completely misread. So, everybody, just read the card. Read the card and do what it says. Let me know some cards that you have misread or just, maybe not misread, but had in your mind that they did something differently than they do, and you just didn't read it. Let me know which cards that applies to for you. Let me know what you think of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a marvelous day.